Last week was kind of the Seinfeld of weekly 50 pictures in that it wasn't really about anything. And this week is kind of the opposite. I wouldn't say it's about something in particular, but this was actually, it's a photo that I intended to get, and I hope I did a good job at it. I hope you like it. To me, first I'll describe the photo, and then I'll describe kind of the process I took to take the photo. To me, it's two people, possibly a husband and a wife, comforting each other and leaning on each other for support during a difficult time. In the back, there are a crowd of onlookers. I might even say mourners. I don't want to get too depressing here, but it almost looks like, to be perfectly honest, a husband and wife close to each other, comforting each other because of a loss. And in the back, there are a crowd of other mourners or sympathizers who don't want to get too close to this couple here, but they want to be present and be a source of support. I don't know if the subject, this husband-wife couple, is looking towards the camera or the viewer or away. I'm thinking they might be looking away, so we're kind of catching them from behind. And if you look on the right-hand side, there's a tiny little patch of gray where there's a clearing almost, and maybe that's where they're directing their attention to. I don't know why. I don't know why I see that in this picture, but I do. And don't read too much into this, folks. I'm not trying to make a grand statement or anything, but I saw this scene and I took a picture similar to this, and I got back to my computer, and I didn't really intend it to be what I'm describing here. But as I was looking through the pictures, I realized it wasn't quite what I wanted. So I actually went back to this scene here. This is at Theta Pond on campus, in case you couldn't tell. And you're looking at two, what they call them, cypress knees. These are roots from a cypress tree, and you can actually see the tree on the right-hand side there that stick up from the ground. I don't know why they stick up, but they do. And around them is this covering of needles, fallen needles and leaves from these cypress trees. And when I saw this picture that I had sort of accidentally taken on a walk around Theta Pond, I came back to my computer, saw it, and I thought, it's just not right. There was some compositional elements that didn't quite work out. So I grabbed my coworker, and and the two of us went back to Theta Pond, which is only about 2 minutes from our office. And here I am laying on the ground with my D750. And I specifically wanted this shot. It was not an accident. I intended to take this picture because I saw this scene here. And I like it. I think it turned out great. I framed it intentionally, or I composed it intentionally so that even behind the tall mourner here, the husband on the left-hand side, you can kind of see some branches radiating out from his head there, and that's a tree way in the background. And I almost see that as a way of drawing the viewer's attention right onto them. I don't know, man. Something about this scene just sort of captivated me a little bit, and I wanted to capture it photographically. I shot this, I don't know, from I think 2 different angles, only shifting myself slightly, and a couple different apertures. I used 1.8, 2.8, and 4, and I went back and forth a long time on using, do I post the f2.8 or the f4? The 1.8 was the depth of field was a little too shallow, and one of this couple of knees here, of these cypress knees, the one would be in focus and the other would not be. And on the 2.8 and the 4, so the 4, as you can imagine, was nice and sharp, and both things were really well focused. And the 2.8, which is what you're looking at, there's just a little bit of the shorter one, the shorter route here, that's not in focus. If you zoom into 100%, you'll see this tiny little bulge on the foremost side of it that's a little out of focus. And I didn't like that. I prefer the f4 for its sharpness, but what I noticed on the f4 version is that the background was a little too clear, and I really wanted the viewer's attention to be focused right on these two characters in the foreground here. And the F4 version, despite being a little sharper on my subjects, the whole scene was a little more in focus, and so it distracted the viewer a little bit more, and I didn't want that. So that's what you're looking at here. There's nothing fancy, no special effects, no special filters or anything like that. Just a 50mm lens on a camera. This one happened to be full frame, and I saw this picture and I went and took it. And I don't know if I'm reading too much into this. I don't really know how to create art per se. I don't really know how to create emotions or feelings in a viewer. But something about this kind of stood out to me. So I thought it would make an interesting picture, and I hope you like it too.